Hello and welcome to Creative Lounge, where we delve into the world of creativity and innovation. Today, we have someone very special in the house. He's a digital artist and also someone who is into game development. He's popularly known as the Art Samurai. His name is Sadiq Suleiman. My name is Ahmed Mohamed Bello. Join us as we embark in the world of creativity and innovation. You're welcome, Art Samurai.
Thank you for having me.
Where did you get the name Art Samurai from?
Well, that name has been something that I think since my childhood I've been inspired by samurais.
Okay.
And of course, when people hear Art Samurai, the first thing that will come to their mind is Samurai Jack. That is, of course, for
Samurai
those who
Jack.
grew up with watching Samurai Jack
Yeah.
in early 2000. But to me, as the name Art Samurai, I got inspired because of the way samurais uses their sword.
Okay.
Because when you look at me as an artist, for me, my weapon is my pen. I use my pen to draw on a paper or on a Wacom to draw what inspires me to or motivate me to do stuff. And when you are doing something like this, it requires discipline, and you have to be very, very focused on what you really want to put in on whatever means of drawing tools you want to use. So because of that, I realized, okay, I think I relate more with a samurai, and I decided, okay, why not use this name, Art Samurai?
Okay.
And then that was how it started. But I didn't know the name was going to be part of me, because one thing about me, my art is I don't limit myself to a certain art style. I try to diversify my works, because one thing about me is that I try to adapt
Okay.
to any situation I find myself in.
Okay. Where did you study art from?
Well, I didn't really study art.
Okay.
I discovered my talent when I was very young, from like age 7, 8,
Okay.
from an early age. And to me, I feel like I got inspired to start drawing because I watch a lot of cartoons.
Okay.
I was like an addict. Like, I love watching cartoons. When I'm watching it and someone takes the remote to change it, I get very angry. And even with that, I even when you do that, I just decide, okay, you just take a pen and or pencil and paper to start drawing what I saw when I was watching. So from there, I really realized that I have a talent for drawing, and
Okay.
that was when I realized, okay, I need to do more with this talent.
Okay.
So, and the thing is, my dad realized that, oh, I'm very gifted in this, and decided to, like, he's going to invest in my skills
Okay.
to see where it takes me.
And then you studied what in school?
I studied in my degree. I studied game art development.
Okay.
So
So that was inspired by the fact that you had a talent already.
yeah, okay. Why I chose to study games art development was because after WAEC, you have to choose a university and a course to study. So for me, I love computers, and at the same time, I love drawing. So I was like, okay, how am I going to combine these two hobbies together?
Yeah.
So I realized that here in Nigeria, we don't really have a lot of options, like courses that you want to study in university. So the only options you have is either you become an IT, you study IT, computer engineering, or any of that, or you just focus on art. And it really doesn't do much for you. So for me, I realized, okay, I need to do something different.
Okay.
Then I decided, okay, why not I study a course like gaming, because one thing is that I get inspired by all these game developers. Like, whenever I finish a game, I like going through their documentaries how a game was developed, and really I find that very fascinating and very interesting. So I saw that, oh, they have concept artists that really put a lot of work into bringing this game narrative to life. So I realized that, oh, why not I just study this instead?
Okay.
So pitching this idea occurs to my parents. At first, they were like, "Do you really want to do this?" Because here in Nigeria, we don't really have a job for this. And I told them, this is what I want to do, because then, before, there was nothing like graphic art, or no one really tapped into that. So for me, this was what I wanted.
Okay.
And alhamdulillah, I'm glad that I went for it. And ever since then, my dad was like, okay, he has the confidence in me to do this. And to be honest, he's my biggest hero.
That's good. Alhamdulillah. So, gaming in Nigeria is almost non-existent. You know,
Mm,
how have you been able to, tap into that industry here in Nigeria? Do you think it's thriving?
well, the thing about gaming in Nigeria, well, it depends. When you talk about gaming, if it's like playing video games, of course, we have a lot of people that are into playing video games. Like, for example, we have people that are into all this COD mobile. There are a lot of these youngsters there. That's what they are doing
Yeah.
currently. And we have people that are into other genres that
Yeah.
even sometimes very competitive. But when it comes to games development, like assembling a team to work on a game project,
Yeah.
well, we do have, but I feel like they are not strong enough to really push that. How will I say it? To really impact the world. Like, oh, this is
Yeah.
what we are doing. We don't have that quality of creating game content. I feel like we need to really invest more in that, and maybe bring in experts to really put in their 1 or 2 cents into how we are going to really develop a good game that the world can see.
Okay. Like, sorry, you've gone to school, you've studied this thing, being an artist, you know your own specialty in
Yeah.
game development. What do you think it takes to have a game industry where they can produce something like Call of Duty that could come from Nigeria? What does it take to have such a thing?
Talent.
So, are you saying there are no talents?
There are talent. There are people that really want to do that really want to go into game development, but there's no opportunity for them because we don't have that kind of industry here, or a place where you can actually study these courses. Because when you talk about game development, it depends. You have to choose a field where you need to focus.
Yeah.
Like, for example, there's game programming, there's game design,
Yeah.
there's game concept art. That is where I fall in. There's animation, there's 3D, all of that. So you need all these talents to come together and develop a game. So we don't really push this very much in Nigeria because we don't understand how important it is in the outside world. Like, compare it to Asia, for example. In Asia, Japan, I feel like they are the ones that are well invested in talent,
Yeah.
and even their government even provide that space for them to be very creative. And if you look at their GDP, part of it is talent that is contributing. Like, look at the anime industry, the video game industry, the animated movies that you watch.
Yeah.
All this contributes a lot to the GDP of that country. So even a lot of other countries are following suit.
Yeah.
So in Africa, you can't really point a country that is really doing something about this. And if we are to really bring that to Nigeria, we really need to put a lot of focus. Like, we also need the assistance of the government to really bring out a lot of this, invest in people with talent, and see what they can come up with,
Okay.
and also push our own story to the
Your own
world.
stories, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about stories, I've seen some of your arts, and they're really amazing. But what inspires your stories? I notice there's usually this blend of northern and Asian feel to your characters, to your drawings and your paintings. What inspires them?
Well, what the thing is, before I start any artwork,
Yeah.
I visualize what kind of art I'm going to create.
Okay.
Because I don't just focus on the African side of my artwork, like culture, but when I do, I do it out of passion.
Okay.
Because I feel like, you see, I'm a northerner, and from where I come from, I feel like our content is not being pushed to the world.
Yeah.
We are still behind, and we have a lot to offer. Like when you look at our history of, maybe when you look at Bayajida, like we only read this in history books, but we don't really put it out there, like who is this person, or create a story or something behind that to make people visually see what we can bring to the table. Or I mean, Queen Amina is already popular, and one of the reasons why I love that story is because you can really tap into it. You can make so many things out of it. Like the world itself feels like a video game setting. And if a project should be, if a Queen Amina game project should come up, I mean, this is going to be something I would love to be part of. But the most important thing is that we are not tapping into we are not tapping into
Into the
stories, the culture. We have so much to offer. And when I do my artwork based on that, I try to tell a story and showing that this is possible to tell.
I get that.
Yeah.
Because if you look at most of these animes, you will find out that their stories are usually about samurais, and they keep telling.
Yeah, they keep telling.
They keep telling you stories that it's so embedded in we the audience.
I do know the funny thing about the Japanese culture. I mean, if you go through their history, it was very brutal, very dark. Like the way we fantasize ninjas and samurais. Actually, they were very brutal. Like Japan was not all sunshine and rainbow, like the way we see it now. But like I said, every culture has a brutal history. You just need to take the good thing about that and tell a story.
Yeah.
So this is what they were able to do. They were able to utilize that side of their culture and market it to the world to show them who they really are. Because they really had a terrible history in the past, but they are trying to show the world that there are good things in their culture, either their food, dressing, and a lot of people are really fascinated by that.
Of course.
And because of that, they're able to show the world who they really are. And now we whenever we try to portray a character, we use theirs as an example. Oh, my character is like a samurai, or I'm trying to set this story to look like a samurai setting. Oh, maybe like in the Western world, like cowboys now, for example. Oh, I'm trying to make a character look like a cowboy samurai. You can use that to set example. But when you come to Africa, you are very limited. The only thing that someone might think of is, oh, the Zulu culture from South Africa,
which is overflogged already.
And the thing is, what really baffles me is that when, okay, let's talk like Hollywood, for example.
Yeah.
When you try to tell the story of Africa, they make it look like they give it this jungle feel, like, oh, these people
like
look
we're primitive people.
And I feel, and I'm like, do they really just focus on one side of Africa to tell a story because when you talk about Africa, we have the sub-Saharan Africa, we have East African, and
we have West Africa,
we have West Africa. And even within Nigeria, we are so diverse. even from our food, from dressing, even from the language. There are so many things that we can tap in and tell. That's why we need to tell our story to the world.
Yeah,
Because when we allow people to tell our own story, they will not do justice to it.
of course.
They'll just give it the way it is because Africans are already known to be kind of primitive. But now they are trying to fix that, which they are trying their best. But we need to we need to be the one
Push the
to
stories.
push the
We need
stories.
to push out a narrative.
Yes, that's why I want to push the northern narrative because we really need stories to be told by Northerns in a different way.
So you now, Art Samurai, have you created stories? Are there
Yes.
stories you pushed out there?
Well, I have through my art, I tell story. Like maybe when I create a character, I tell a little background story about who this character is, but I haven't really pushed a story that develop around it.
Okay.
But I also have my own personal project I'm working on.
Okay. You
And
care to tell us about it?
just a little bit.
Okay.
It's not yet done, but it's a passion project.
Okay.
I want to make a story. The setting is based on the northern setting and mixed with fantasy.
Okay.
So it's well, I can't say much now.
Okay.
But
Still cooking.
I'm still cooking.
Okay.
Still in the grading stage.
Be patient,
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
what
But
it's going to
I
be
can
like.
show you some concepts
Okay.
and some ideas behind the story.
So is this project going to be a game or
I'm trying to
animation?
I'm trying to make it to be both.
Okay.
It can be adapted to a game, it can be adapted to animation, even a movie.
Okay.
But before I do that, I have to build a world around it
Okay.
that will fit in any narrative that you choose to translate it to.
Okay. Which of your works would you say you're most proud of?
I have quite a lot, but the one I'm most proud of is Queen Amina.
Okay.
Yeah, that art, did it out of passion because I just realized, oh, the Queen Amina we have the art looks a bit outdated, and I needed to show her in a more warrior-like,
Okay.
like portray her as a warrior. So when I did that, I didn't expect much from it. But when I posted it to my art profile, like art station and Pinterest, a lot of people started using it to give example of African royalty like Queen Amina, and even the design of Queen Amina costume was inspired by this fashion designer. I can't remember her name.
Okay.
Yeah, she adapted her design from my Queen Amina artwork.
Interesting.
And also Trevor Noah
Okay.
also contacted me, and they had an episode that they're working on
Okay.
based on African royalties, the most influential kings and queens in Africa. So they saw my work, contacted me, and like, oh, they like.
You pushed our story out there.
Yeah, like this was what indirectly, not what I was expecting, but it did work.
Okay.
But they saw it and they loved the artwork, so they said, oh, they would like my permission, like to use it in one of their episodes. Of course, I did. I was really proud of it.
I hope you charged them.
That's classified.
Okay. Such a thing shouldn't be for free.
No, definitely. They of course they gave me something, but it's not like I sold the art to them. But
Okay.
that was like one of my proudest moments to see my art shown to the world. Like even though it was just for an episode, but to me it was really, I was really proud of myself because I was telling myself, okay, what if I didn't do this? I wouldn't.
You felt like a celebrity. You
Yeah.
are actually.
But
if your work has gone international like that, it's gone to Trevor Noah's show.
Yeah,
You are.
well, Actually, you're right. But funny thing is, I don't really push myself out there because people still see me as a ghost.
Why?
Um, I don't know.
You're not. You don't push yourself out there, or it's just your.
I do,
It's, people
but
don't see the face behind the works.
I think so. People don't see the face behind the work, and most times when people find out who is behind,
Mm.
they are shocked.
Even me, it took me a while before I knew who Art Samurai was. You know, I used to see Art Samurai, but like, who's this person? Even it's for some time I thought it was a Jap. I didn't know Art Samurai was a Nigerian.
I think I should take that as a compliment.
You know, till I met you and I found out, who you really are, and I was like, wow, this is impressive.
The funny thing is,
Yeah.
even when I was in Malaysia, some of my artworks, when they see, they always have this impression, oh, this is an Asian that did it.
Mm.
Like there was this game project I worked on.
Okay.
I think it was when I was in semester 3 or 4. Can't really remember. It's a 2D game platform called Y Punch.
Okay.
So I worked on it. So when we showcased the game to this we've had guests from the industry, game industry, animation industry. So when they saw the work, they saw some of my concept art. They're like, "Oh, who did this?"
Mm.
Then when I came, I thought, "Oh, it's me." They didn't expect me to be the one.
Quality of work you did.
Yeah, they having that impression. Oh, maybe it's an Asian, or yeah, because most times it's even during my degree, I was the only African in my set.
Wow.
So they were like surprised to see that. So you're able to create. I was like, yeah, they really liked it. Even I was even before my internship, I was even offered an internship.
Okay.
Because of they saw the work was really nice.
Did you take it? Did you take it?
Well, I had like 2 more semesters before I could start my internship.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I had the opportunity to do it with them. But yeah, they saw the work and they were really impressed because most times I try not to push myself out there. I like my work to speak for itself.
Right.
Even here in Nigeria, people are shocked to see, oh, wait, you're in order? Like, yeah.
Well, it's hard to see another who does something like this.
We don't have some Northerners that
game
do
development.
this. Yeah, okay, like
concept art.
We don't really have.
Yeah, it's very rare to find.
Even I would say the degree too is very.
Yeah.
Maybe there is, but wherever I go is always like an alien. I feel like an alien. Even during my NYC days, people were like, what kind of course is that? I had a lot of drama during that time, but yeah.
It's all right. We'll go on a short break and we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. You're welcome back at the Still Creative Lounge, and we have in the house Art Samurai, who is known as Sadiq Suleiman, and we're talking about his journey in the creative world. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
Just before we went on break, you were about telling us about your challenges, the challenges you face. So I want you to tell us, what challenges do you face in this industry, especially where we have a high amount of traditional artists, and you are someone who's a digital artist and also into game development. What challenges do you face?
With the traditional artists,
yeah. Do you feel there's a competition?
Not really. I don't think there's any competition.
Okay.
Because one thing is for me, I embrace technology. And one thing about traditional art, of course, when it comes to things that we do normally, traditionally, it has to evolve one way or the other. So, however it is, you have to also adapt. Like for me, I do both. I do traditional art and I do digital art.
Okay.
But of course, with the AI art that is coming up, people think that AI art is going to take over.
We're all scared of
digital art. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, in order for AI art to really work, it needs artists like us that post our work online, because when you generate an artwork in an AI engine, it aggregates all the arts that are online and gives you that result. So without us, AI cannot function.
But don't you think that's fraud?
Hmm. Well, the thing is,
Yeah.
the thing about AI is that I would tell artists out there not to be scared. Like, they shouldn't be intimidated by it. Yes, there are a lot. AI is able to create good stuff in a short period. Like, how long did AI? When did AI come to the light that everyone is scared of? Like, you shouldn't, because AI doesn't have the capacity to think like human.
So this is the year 2024. What advice would you give to aspiring digital artists or game developers out there?
If you are very creative, um, keep doing what you are doing. Don't let anyone to stop you from achieving your dreams. And if you feel like you are not being appreciated, find the audience, find a community that appreciates your talent and what you are able to produce out there.
Thank you. I hope you get inspired by Art Samurai's story. If you're creative, do what you have to do your own quota and leave the rest to God, but don't relent in your efforts. Keep creating, be true to your craft. Whether you're a digital artist, a traditional artist, a photographer, a graphic artist, a dancer, a musician, just be true to your craft. Thank you so much, Art Samurai.
Thank you very much.
This is what we call it today on this episode of Creative Lounge. Join us same time, same station next week. I remain Ahmed Mohammed Bello.